Hello, punters, and welcome back to another episode of the Snapshot. I'm Ryan Cook. Joining me like he does each and every week, it's my main man, Tommy Rockcliffe. Tommy, 2 from 4 on the multi last week, mate, and I want to start there because the team that cost us, well, one of the teams that cost us, your old mob, Port Adelaide, running out 9-point winners in a game they should have won by 10 goals against North Melbourne. What's going on with the Power, mate?
Yeah, well, I mean, they'd be just happy to win, but from our multi point of view, disappointing, wasn't it? I think they started really well and then lost a bit of momentum. I mean, North played probably the best they have, but you'd imagine Port Adelaide on their home deck, they would have been up and about a bit more for that. But, I mean, 6-day turnaround, I think teams are starting to get exposed a little bit from that. We've seen it happen to Geelong yesterday as well. Carlton ran over the top of them. Or didn't run over the top of them, but looked like they had more energy, where the Cats looked a little bit flat coming off a 6-day turnaround. Even your Hawks a little bit as well. They were the other lead that cost us. They should have won by more than 50 points. They missed their chances in front of goal, but they should have blown that game away as well. But again, 6-day break. I think it's starting to take hold a lot more in AFL footy than what it previously has.
Yeah, look, I'm going to ask you in a moment about teams that we can put a line through in terms of finals, but we'll stick with the Power because the run or the next month for them is very difficult. They've got the Dogs in Ballarat this week, then they got the Showdown, then they got the Cats at home, and then finally Freo in Perth. The market says it all to me here, $1.20 for the Power to miss the 8. Are you tipping them for finals still or no?
Yeah, it's shaky ground, isn't it? I mean, they coughed up some games that they sit outside the 8 now, and that's as tough month as you're going to get in it. Western Bulldogs, they've been super impressive. They just continue to win. They've got the best player in the competition back, firing on all cylinders, what they did to the Giants on the weekend. They may be a force still. Difficult to go to Ballarat and win games of footy. So Port, I think they'll lose that one. Showdown, we know anything can happen. Has the edge come off the Adelaide Crows somewhat? I think they're disappointing. I mean, if they want to play finals, they probably have to win that game on Friday night over there in Perth against Fremantle. They've been disappointing their last 3. And then Geelong seem to play Adelaide Oval exceptionally well. I don't know whether the dimensions are very similar to their ground down there at Cardinia Park, but and then you've got to go over to Perth. So, I mean, they could slip right back into the field, and if they lose, say, 3 out of the next 4, their finals chances are probably shot. So, I mean, it's not good value, the $1.20, but yeah, it's probably more than likely that they miss the 8.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle, that's for sure. In terms of teams that can't win, we're at the 2-month mark of the season now. And a few weeks ago, you went through a few that you're happy to put a line through. And the obvious ones are Richmond, West Coast, North, the D's, even though they had a win last week. Are we finally there, though, with the Sydney Swans? Ooh. Sitting 14th, pretty average, ugly loss against the Suns last week. Surely the Swans are a little bit too far down the ladder now to compete, do you think?
Well, yes and no. They're the only team in recent history that has started. I think they started 0-6 and came back. Your Hawks did it last year. They were zipping 5 and snuck into the finals and shook things up a little bit as well. But Sydney, I wouldn't put a line through them. Just their injuries. I think if they can get Goulden and these guys back, he's massive out for them. A touch and go, though. I think if the Giants touch them up this week and then the week after, who have they got the week after? They got Essendon. If Essendon beat them in Melbourne, you can put a line through them. I wouldn't want to write them off yet. St Kilda, I think you can put a line through. Essendon, I think you can put a line through. Carlton were better on the weekend. So I think from about Carlton up, you probably can't put a line through any of them. So Carlton, Port Adelaide, Fremantle, Dogs, Cats, Giants, Crows, Hawks, Suns, Lions, Collingwood are probably still alive. So I reckon it's down to 11. But realistically, there's probably only a handful of teams that can win it. I still don't trust the Gold Coast Suns. They were impressive yesterday, and they're a game behind. So their percentage is 150. They're effectively on top of the ladder as we sit here right now. They've got a game against Essendon. Hawks, not convinced on them. Crows, not convinced on them. Giants, not convinced on them. So Collingwood and Brisbane are probably those front runners again. We know how good that grand final was a couple of years ago. So it's pretty open again, I think, Ryan, this year.
I was going to say, you're telling me it's wide open. Sticking with that theme, though, let's play a quick game of forgive and forget. The Cats losing to the Blues on the weekend, trailed in the clearances for most of that game. 20 fewer inside 50 entries. We don't see that very often when it comes to Geelong, and they got a massive contest on Saturday night against the Pies at the G. And then the other team, the GWS Giants, losing by 6 goals down in Canberra to the Dogs. Back-to-back losses now for GWS, and they're heading into the Battle of the Bridge game against the Swans this coming weekend. Can you forgive and forget these two teams?
Yeah, I think you can forgive the Cats, but again, they've got another 6-day break. So how do they come up against the Pies coming off an 8-day break? I would lean towards Geelong bouncing back. I wouldn't be surprised if they win that game of footy. And the Giants, I think they bounce back as well. So I think we can forgive and forget both of those results on the weekend. I mean, the Western Bulldogs, you never know what you're going to get from them. And they played really, really well down there, particularly in that second half. So I think forgive the Giants and forgive the Cats.
There you go. Look, from a betting perspective, you can still take $3.75 for the Giants to miss the top 8. If there's any punters out there that want to jump onto that nice and early. Speaking of punting, let's get into the multi. We already spoke about what happened last week. 2 from 4. We've still only got the 1 multi up for the year, and that's as many as the NRL show. So we're tracking along okay,
2?
I guess. 2? We got 2 up. There you go. Correction.
We went back to back. And we almost went 3 on the bounce. Come on, Ryan.
Yeah,
I know your heart's with the NRL show and your head's with the AFL show. We'll get bounce back and get another one this week.
We need 3. I don't think any show's ever had 3, so that's what we're aiming for this year. This week we've got 4 legs as always. I'm taking the Western Bulldogs 1-39 down at the Rat against Port Adelaide. We spoke about the Power. I have big question marks over them. And I've also thrown in Geelong to cover plus 15.5. Alternate handicap against the Pies, but I love Geelong to bounce back. They're always a good bet in this spot, so I'm going to take the Cats plus 15.5. Give me your 2 best legs.
I like them. I like that one in Ballarat too, because generally it blows one end, so it should be a close game. And I think the Dogs will win. I'm going to take the Giants head-to-head against the Swans. I think they bounce back. I thought they a bit disappointing, and Sydney just too many injuries at the moment. So I'm going just to take the Giants head-to-head at $1.60, and also the Adelaide Crows. I think they'll bounce back on their home deck against the Blues at $1.52. So not much juice from my end, but a little bit of juice from yours maybe.
We just need a win. So we got the Dogs 1-39, Crows to win, Cats are the alternate line, GWS to win, $8.36. Where can we find that one, Rocky?
On the Neds app, I think, under the AFL section, you get that one and get away with that. I think there's a bit of juice around that, $8. Get around that one, Ryan.
Like it a lot. Thank you for your time, Rocky. We'll do it again next week, mate.
See you next week.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website